Now that I have everyone here, let's just go ahead and get started. So welcome to Introduction to Data Science. This is your orientation for the course. My name is Molly, and I'll be your student advisor throughout this course. I'll kind of touch a little bit more about what my specific role entails. However, right now it's just my duty and my job to get you guys oriented with the course material, the course structure, your support systems, and all of that going forward. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start out by sharing my screen. Perfect. And like I said, welcome to our Introduction to Data Science orientation. Let's get started. This is just a really quick overview and kind of an eagle-eyed view of what is to come in case you are considering or interested in continuing your education with our data science vertical. Currently, you are all in the introduction course, but in the future, if you're interested or want more information, I'd love to give you that through either our intermediate data science course or our data science career track. Both of them develop more skills in Python, not just R, and kind of work a little bit more on machine learning. Those who are interested in intermediate data science most likely are really trying to perfect those skills, skill up in their current job, develop a bigger background in coding in both R and Python, the different coding languages. Alongside that though, in the data science career track, we do offer the job guarantee or your money back. So we get a lot of students who after the introduction course are really passionate about data science and would really like to continue with that. With a job. So we do see a lot of our students in the introduction course who eventually do decide to go to our career track just because they are extremely motivated by the course and then really want to continue refining those skills. So just good to know ahead of time in case you're interested. Feel free to ping me after this as well if you'd like more information on one or both. They're also on our website as well. So going through the orientation today, first let's start off with the course support. So I'm going to be talking about who can you lean on during the course when you might be struggling, or who can you ask specific questions to. Moving on, we'll go through the course structure. So what are the different components of the course and why are they important? Last, we're going to move to tips to succeed in the course. So these are tips that we've pulled from mentors and alumni that we've learned to differentiate the students who are extremely successful in the course to those who might struggle a little bit. So we'd love to give you those tips. And then at the end, we have time for questions. So like I said, please feel free to add questions in the chat box at the end and would love to answer any of those that you might have. Cool, let's get started. So course support. First, your student advisor, which would be me. I can help you in a lot of different ways. So anything relating to Springboard or the course page in general, please direct those questions towards me. More than happy to help you with that. A lot of the times I have weekly check-ins with students. We can either do that with call or video chat. Students just want help with accountability, help prioritizing the course versus their outside factors in their life, time management, study tools, study tricks and tips, and all those different things can be either in weekly calls, monthly check-ins, but yeah, feel free to utilize me in any way that I can be of support with the course. Sadly, I am not a data scientist. However, I do have a background in education, and before Springboard, I was teaching abroad for the last 4 years. So would love to help you in any way that I can, and I'm extremely passionate about education, so really excited to be working here and to help you guys out in any way that I can. Along with myself, we have Guy Mescal, who will be your community manager. Guy lives in the community, which you can find on your student dashboard. He responds to almost all questions or comments within 24 hours. He is also a data scientist and a mentor in and of itself, so he is able to answer all those technical and course content questions. He's also really great at answering any sort of capstone project questions that you might have, or if you really need specific references, or you really just need a really quick tip to figure out how you can find a clean data set. If you ask those to Guy, you'll have a really quick response and someone who can always be there to help you. So yeah, Guy's there to never make you feel alone and yeah, to help you with those content and technical questions. Along with Guy, you do have your mentor. Your mentor is also an industry expert. They're all data scientists who are really passionate about mentoring. Many of them have been doing this with us for many years, really enjoy the teaching component of the course, and really enjoy relaying all of their information that they've gathered and gained throughout the years and relaying that to the new group of data scientists that we have come through our programs. You can access them through your 30-minute weekly calls that you'll have with your mentor. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit when we move on to course structure. But right now, just good to know that they're there for you for, again, the content and the technical questions. They also can help you with things like getting a job outside of Springboard, like interview tips and tricks, my questions that you might have for career advice or career questions. They're just there to kind of help you and act in accordance with the curriculum as well. So yeah, you can utilize your 3 different components of your course structure in many different ways, but we're all here for you in the end just to help make sure you never feel alone in the course and to kind of humanize the online learning idea that we have. So cool. Course support, moving on. The Springboard course structure. So we do have a curated project-based curriculum. Project-based meaning that you're able to work on your capstone project while you're working through the curriculum. So you're at Unit 3, you're working on data wrangling, you're able to immediately apply that to your capstone project. Our different probability and statistics units, you can really immediately access that into your capstone project. And I think that this is such a cool component of Springboard, but also just like coming from an education background, it's so important to be project-based. It really allows the content to be differentiated for each student, so we really allow for a lot of creativity. You're able to decide on your own capstone projects. You're able to bring what you are passionate about to what you're learning. And yeah, it's also student-centered, meaning that not only do we allow you to be creative, but you're able to access the curriculum and work through the course at your own time. So depending on how much time you are willing to devote, if you want to speed through the course quickly and you have the time and focus to do that, feel free to do that in 2 months. Or if you're like, I really want to take my time on this, I'm working a full-time job. If 6 months is for you, 6 months is for you. So it really allows it to be not only just project-based, but also student-centered. Rather than being limited by in-house material, we also partner with a lot of really great programs as well to make this a super dynamic course. So you'll see bits and pieces from other places as well, just making sure this is the most relevant information we can give you. So cool. Curriculum going forward. You'll also be having your 30-minute weekly one-on-one calls with your mentor. The mentors were in the last page that I was talking to you a little bit about. In these calls, like I said, they are meant to act in accordance with the curriculum. So as you are working through each unit, you might ask specific questions during each mentor call, or you might say, you know what, I really would love to see how you think through this problem. Would you mind, showing me how you would work through this? You can really utilize these calls in whatever way you prefer, just as long as you and your mentor are both on the same page. We do find that a lot of the times you can develop really great working relationships with your mentor, and they're able to help you, not only with your course, but also just like kind of after the course as well, and hearing and seeing the mind of a data scientist and how you can, it kind of like brings to life and humanizes what it could be like after the course. So cool. Alongside your mentor calls and your curriculum, you also have an online community. This is where Guy Mescal lives. It's a place where we also have past alumni, other mentors, students in other cohorts who all live in your community as well. So this is a great place to be super vulnerable and open, and I really urge all of you to introduce yourself and get to know others in your cohort and outside of your cohort, as I believe many of us do learn best by our peers and working through it with others. So our community does allow students to meet other students, ask questions that other students must have, and also get immediate access to our mentor Guy and have someone to kind of constantly be there to help while you're kind of working through the course in between mentor calls and coursework. Last and certainly not least, we also have our weekly office hours. These are hosted by another mentor, Mohammed Zachariah, and myself and another student advisor, Chris. So as a group of 3, we kind of touch on a lot of different subjects. We have career advice office hour sessions, question and answer office hour sessions. We allow for students to present past capstones projects. So it's a really cool dynamic component of our course structure that I think not as many students utilize as they should. I think it's a great way to kind of get that extra bit of help that you need. It's a fresh face. It's someone who's not your mentor, and it's also meant to be curated for the students. So we really try and dive into exactly what students want to see. We try to make that the theme of each office hour. So would love if you guys joined us. It's through a Zoom link, so the same application that we're using today. It's every Thursday at 4 p.m. PST, and you can just join us in by clicking on the link, and that's also in the community as well. So kind of to collapse all of this, we have 4 different components of our course structure, and they all are moving pieces that work in making this a really cool, dynamic course going forward. So here are some important notes that we've heard that we would like to, we would like many of you to know ahead of time, just so that when it comes time to completion, there's no confusion. So basically the completion requirements is that you complete at least 60% of the curriculum and you're uploading all of your projects, including the capstone projects. So that means that not only are you submitting them, but then your mentor, who ends up grading all of your coursework, will also pass you. So like I said, your mentor is there for your weekly calls, but also does end up grading and finalizing kind of your capstone project. So once you complete 60% of the curriculum and have uploaded all of your projects, you'll get an automatic pop-up that will then ask you, are you ready to complete? In which you would say yes, and then that sends it to me and I send it from there to your mentor. So it's a really quick automated process, but a lot of the time students will say, how will I know if I'm done? So it'll actually be an automatic pop-up from you. So it's kind of easy to see which projects you've submitted and which have been actually officially passed. Another just quick note to see is that, like myself, Leo is another member of Springboard who will be helping and supporting you throughout your course. He does work with more billing and logistical questions, where I work more with course support, accountability, prioritization, time management. We have a little bit of a different role, but you will hear probably from both of us. He also lives in Beacon, which you can find on the Springboard website and on your dashboard. He's just there to ask any questions that you might have throughout the course, and will hopefully respond to you very quickly. Now, I've been talking for quite a bit, so let's go ahead and move it over to hear from some of our mentors.
Come together. Now, along that way, I had at some points really good mentors. At some point, I didn't have mentors. And one of the things I've learned, and I apply to life, and I try to help out people whenever I can, is that having a mentor, having someone there that can explain things to you when you're stuck, kind of give you advice, is really invaluable. And really, you can tell that difference when you see people interviewing or when you see people that are practicing, whether they had a good mentor.
I like working with students who, like myself, are learning coding from scratch. So I can totally understand how they're feeling and what they're feeling, and I can give them a lot of advice.
It makes me sort of blush to have you read what Iraj wrote about me. I really had a wonderful relationship with him, and was really just, I don't know, I felt like the mentoring component of the Springboard course was one of the very best things about it. So it's nice to hear him say those nice things about me, but I feel like I could say just as good things about what an excellent teacher and how encouraging he was to me as I was learning.
We see it as a wonderful opportunity to kind of pass down my experiences, good and bad, in this field with them, to share with them so that they're prepared once they get into the working world as a data scientist. And I'm learning as well, as much as they're learning from me. So those are the best calls to do, where almost the time just passes by in half an hour, and it's just a lovely experience. And it's not just mentees, it's more, they're going to become possibly lifelong friends as well.
Right now, it is the place where you would definitely love to be. So try and don't take pressure that, oh, I have to learn so many algorithms and I have to do so much of theoretical understanding. Start in steps and try to use whatever knowledge that you have presently, how it could be related to data science and data in general, and that will really help you to make a transition into that field very easily.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one of the great values of having a mentor is just having somebody you can kind of lean on if you get stuck. But it's also a good time to learn a lot of the intangibles of data science. So, what do data scientists do day to day? How do you deal with interviewing? How is a data science project set up? All of these other kind of little questions that people want to know, but it's not necessarily in the textbooks.
It's it's alwaalways kind of cool to get to see who might be your mentor and what they can kind of offer and what their perspective is. So kind of a nice note from our mentors. So the last kind of component of our orientation today is how can you make the most of the course? So again, some tips and tricks that we've heard along the way that really make the difference. The first is time management. So a lot of the time, I think students have this idea that the course might be one way, but in reality, it's really important to set those goals ahead of time and to really prioritize your education and your course pretty high, right? Because I mean, a lot of us have families, jobs, a social life, and it's really important to decide how you can manage those inevitable interruptions and how you can avoid procrastination ahead of time before it gets too tough. So anything you can start doing, anything that you can start doing now to help you with scheduling or setting those goals, I would really advise that you start doing. And again, I can be a great assistance during this time as well. Feel free to reach out to me anytime you might need help with this. Along with myself, you will also find a study plan tool on your dashboard. You can decide how long you would think you would want to take this course for. And then that kind of gives a breakdown of how many minutes or hours a week you would need to work on each component of the course to be able to get it done in that amount of time. Now, do keep in mind, I do like to say that this is an estimate. This by no means is an exact, complete, serious time amount that it takes. Everyone takes a little bit of a different time, to be really honest. Different backgrounds, different study habits, how much time you're willing to devote to the course can all dictate how long it will actually take you to go through the course. However, it's just a good tool to kind of start to visualize the amount of time it might take. The next, before I move to the next step, this is just a quick overview of the timeline. So you can start now kind of planning out your life, what might happen in the coming months. So today, November 18th, is your orientation. Going from there, you will be matched with your mentor on Friday the 30th. Following that, December 3rd is your first course start date. And then kind of pitter-pattering down the line, maybe in April is about the time that you might imagine you will either be applying to complete or just kind of starting to get ready to do so. So just a nice course timeline to start thinking, how can I begin to manage those interruptions? Holidays are coming up. What can I do to still prioritize my education going forward? The second tip is to develop a relationship with your mentor. Now, a lot of our mentors, like I said, do this as their full time. They really enjoy mentoring. So as much communication as you can, the better. So communicate things like cancellations or you need to reschedule. We do ask that you try to let your mentor know of that 24 to 48 hours ahead of time, just because they are preparing for your call. Communication is so important, not only when you do need to cancel or reschedule, but also letting them know what your course goals are, what's your course pace, what are your expectations for a mentor. I think being really honest and upfront really does help that relationship grow. We're super feedback driven here, and so I think the more that you guys can have those really maybe serious conversations at the beginning will really help your relationship down the road. In your first call with your mentor, you can also give them a little bit of a background on you, hear about them, and hopefully develop that really professional working relationship, because a lot of the time students do find that this is the most important component of our course. So yeah, we just like to give you those tips on how to best interact with your mentor going forward. This is just a quick overview of what your tab might look like when you access your mentor call page on your community dashboard. So it allows you for a place to add an agenda or a question for your mentor. It also allows you to flag how many stars out of 5 you would like to give your mentor. So if you're not feeling that they are giving you enough feedback, you can send that to me and let me know. And then from there, we can kind of talk about how we can best help you going forward. Or if you're really enjoying your mentor call and you want to let them know, you can give them 5 stars and say, I've just been really syncing well with my mentor. It's a really great relationship. I'm really excited. So yeah, this is kind of the home of how you will connect with your mentor and what it might look like. The last tip that we have is engaging in the community. So I think it's extremely important to be vulnerable here and to ask questions that you might have. Odds are someone else is going to have the exact same question. We do find that a lot of students do create or join study groups if they find that others live near them, or that they can do like a WhatsApp group, or a Slack group just to kind of help each other. And the community is where you can also watch and attend office hours. So again, this is one of the core components of the course structure. In the community, not only can you watch them, but you can also request office hour topics. We would love to hear new ideas that you might have. Like I kind of said before, we do try to curate the office hours to meet our students' needs. So any advice or ideas you could give us, we would love to have. Chris and I, the other student advisor, really do try and make each office hour session really dynamic and engaging. So we'd love if you guys could join us there as well. So as much as you can engage in the community, the better, I think. It really does allow you to step outside of your comfort zone, meet others, and it really does humanize this online learning course. All right, cool. What happens next? So you're going to finish the getting started section on your course dashboard before your first mentor call. Basically, the getting started section outlines a lot of what I said today, except for it adds a lot more details and explains things a little bit more thorough than I would be able to in 30 minutes. After that, you can start thinking about your project topic. I know it is a little early, but you will eventually have to think of 3 different ideas for your capstone project. So the more ideas that you can kind of think of now and start to be creative at and start to think, what am I really passionate about, the better it's going to be for you down the road. Shortly after that, you'll be able to meet your mentor via email. So I'll be sending out on Friday who your mentor is. From there, you guys can kind of decide on figure out when your first call is, figure out backup links just in case, let's say Skype doesn't work. Do you also have a Google Hangout? Do you have a phone number that you're willing to give me? What about email address? Meet your mentor and really get to know your mentor and get to know what's ahead. And last, just a good thing to keep in mind is your free trial does end Sunday, December 9th. So if it's not the course for you, that would be the time to tell me by then. All right, would love to answer any questions that you guys might have. I know I've been talking for quite a bit of time, so would love to give others the chance to talk. But if you have any questions going forward, feel free to look up them in the community or ping me directly at molly@springboard.com. Again, apologies for the long rant, but hopefully that oriented you on the course and gave you a little bit more information going forward. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions that you might have. I would love to answer and help.
Hey, Molly.
Hi.
Hey, this is Jared from North Jersey. And I have a 2-part question about the intermediate track versus the career track.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm curious about, what percentage of students who continue their education with Springboard jump to the data science career track versus intermediate?
That's a really great question. I don't know if I have the exact stats on that for you, but I would say that I think more students go to the career track than the intermediate course. Either I found that students begin in the intermediate course if they have a really strong programming background, if they already feel extremely comfortable with R or Python, and they have quite the probability and statistics background, maybe some coding background. We find that students immediately enter the course through the intermediate course. But regardless, a lot of the students choose to go to the career track. Rather, if you start from the introduction course or you start from the intermediate course, a lot of them do funnel into the career track just because of the job guarantee. We also give a lot more of career support in the data science career track, but it is a lot more rigorous and it takes a little bit more time. So that's why we ask, that students either take the introduction or the intermediate course before they come into their career track, just as it is a lot more rigorous and you need to have at least a little bit of a background in both coding languages before entering.
Got it. All right. And then the second part is, I guess you kind of answered it, but you can jump straight from the intro course to the career track, and that should be enough preparation for it, right? You don't need any more prerequisites or time, correct?
Great question. Correct. Yeah. We do ask that students do take a quick assessment before they enter the career track. This is just to make sure that you do have the skills and background and kind of thought process necessary to enter the course. for as long as I've been here, though, all of our students who have taken the introduction course have been entering the data science career track and have had no problem. So yeah, it's just kind of a little bit different just because introduction deals more with R, intermediate deals a little bit more with Python. So depending on where you come in, you can fit in either courses. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, great questions. I just see one in the chat box before that asked how many are in the cohort. I can get you those numbers for our specific cohort. Each cohort is a little different. It really does depend on when the course starts. We're on a holiday right now. You know, the November, December cohorts, we find that we get a little less students just because of the time of year. Let's see. Okay, so we have 100 students, exactly 100, in our introduction course for the December cohort. So would love if you guys would introduce yourself in the community. You can get to know all 100 of your peers. But yeah, I think that's a pretty between like anywhere from like 75 to 200. It really just depends on the time of the year, the month, all of that. I have another question. Is there a big advantage to doing the intermediate class before the career track? I wouldn't say there's a big advantage. I would just say that each course deals with a little bit of a different, like coding, mostly coding language. So introduction does give you that really nice background and base that you need to enter the career track. We find that students who enter the intermediate course first already have a really good background in R, and they want to perfect more of their Python skills. They also might want to do a little bit more with machine learning, or really want to skill up with their job. So we find that the intermediate students are already in a job that they really like. They're already working with data science or maybe business analytics, and they just want to refine those skills. Whereas introduction courses, students who are really trying to slowly work their way into the data science track, and then from there they're like, oh, this feels good. This has been great for me. I'm ready to now enter into the career track, which kind of gives them that final orientation. Sorry, I just got a second question as well. Did that answer your question though, for Bill Sang, I think asked that? Someone just asked if I can do a quick summary of the orientation. All of our orientations are posted online, our full recording after it's done. We do try and stick within the 30 minutes that we had, but I will upload this recording immediately after finishing it, so you can rewatch it then as well. It'll be on your community, and then we also have a YouTube playlist of all the orientations from the past, so if you want to watch really old orientations of me doing this, that's too. Have the whole shebang there. Okay, what kind of topics or projects do we focus on while thinking about ideas on our capstone project? Are we going to have to pick 3 different capstone projects, or we just pick 3 ideas? Okay, so for the capstone project, it's very like thematic, so themed based. In the past, we've had students work on it over like housing. We've had sports analytics. We've had music. We've had art. It's truly what you're passionate about, and kind of trying to figure out where you can find a nice data set or a clean data set. You are going to be picking 3 to submit to your mentor and say, hey, I'm really, passionate about sports. I'm really passionate about books. I'm really passionate about weather. These are my 3 ideas. These are what I think would be good data sets to correlate with this. These are like the themes that I'm passionate about, I'm interested in. This is kind of the background that I have. Which one of these do you think would be great? And then in that mentor call or through, your correspondences with your mentor will be able to say, hey, just with my background experience, weather, it's not going to be good. Ooh, the book one sounds not the great. Let's go with sports. I think sports would give you a lot of really great data for this capstone project. So your mentor calls kind of refine what capstone project idea they think is going to be really good. So you have to think of 3 just originally, but then from there you can kind of narrow it down to just one idea.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does actually. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Great question. Cool. Anyone else? All right. Well, I really want to respect.
I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what exactly does completion mean? Like once you're finished and you do the steps that you talked about earlier, do you lose access to all the content? Do you get a certificate? Like, could you just talk about what all that means?
Awesome, yeah. You will have lifelong access to the content, to office hours, to all of our resources, which is really cool. I think that's what kind of sets our program apart from others, because in our community, the one I was speaking about earlier, we still have many students who are alumni or who have gone to other courses who still like pop back in our community and are just like, hey, like I'm working on this right now. Does anyone have any cool ideas for this? Or hey, I found a really cool resource. This would really help a lot of students who I've been in your footsteps before. I know exactly what you're going through. So you have forever access to that once you complete, which is really cool. You will get a certification that you can put on your LinkedIn, which would be fun. So I'll send that to you guys once you apply to complete. So it is just that 60% of the curriculum and then all of your projects and capstone projects submitted. And then basically you just need that final check off from your mentor. And once you get that, that's kind of that final completion funnel. And then, yeah, I'll send you a completion email. For those of you who are actually interested in the career track, if you complete Introduction to Data Science, currently we are having an $1,000 discount to the career track just to incentivize and motivate students to continue their learning. So that's currently what's happening right now. So down the road, if that's something you're interested in, not only do you get a certification, but also $1,000 to continue your learning.
Cool. Thanks.
Other questions, concerns, comments? Okay, we are over time just a bit, and I do want to respect everyone's time. So I'm going to add my email to the chat. Feel free to email me if you guys have any other questions going forward. More than happy to answer those, set up call times with you guys. And if anyone is in New York and would like to join us for our December 13th happy hour meetup, we would love to have you. Check that out in the community. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for joining us. It was great to virtually meet all of you, and hope to hear from you guys soon. Best of luck with your data science education going forward.
Thanks, Molly.
All right, cool. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.